Hey guys, welcome to class today. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out with our vocab normally. You guys know the vocab is in the bin. I've got extra sheets up at the desk if you need them. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking this vocab information, and basically what we're doing is really just kind of running through and choosing or copying these down to start. Now, yesterday we finished up our inscribed angles and our central angle work. We will likely revisit that next week, but I want to make sure that we go on forward and do some surface area and volume today, and that's what we're going to cover. So let's copy this down. This time let's press pause. All right, now that we have this copied down, it is time for us to kind of continue and move on. Here's your warm-up for the day, and this is really, I wanted to kind of see how you could go about and do this, and I'm going to just ask that you guys turn this in today without me going into great detail on how to go over it, because I want this to really serve as a pre-assessment so that when I look at these I can see what you know and what you didn't know going into this. All right, so give these a shot on your own. All right, and we'll kind of continue, and I'll show you how to do this a little bit later on. Here's the other set as well. We're looking for some surface area here. So just kind of continue with this and see what we can get done and what we can't get done on this. And again, I want to know where you are at, and that's what the purpose of this is today, to kind of see where you're at without me going into great detail on how to do it. So pause and let's work on this and make sure that we are getting that all down and giving it our good old try before we do too much about what we're doing there. All right, so now that we've taken a look at it, let's go over the formulas and let's kind of make it so that we can get this done. What we first see is we saw the first two were area of a polygon formulas there. And what we know is that an area of any polygon, n means any side-agon, with the side lengths s is half the product of the apothem and the perimeter. So A equals 1/2 AP, or A equals 1/2 A times NS. So whatever number side we have times the length of said side. Now what does that look like in practice? So let's take a moment and I will rewrite that formula here for you guys. A equals 1/2 of AP, right? And here's our side length and here's our apothem. Our apothem is basically any segment from the center of a regular polygon to the midpoint of one of its sides. All right, so what we know is we know that A equals 1/2. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sides. All right, so we have to figure out the perimeter. So all the sides are the same length, so we can just take 14.7. All right. All right, so we take 14.7 multiplied by 7.0. Once we do that, we'll have our perimeter, which is 102.9. So now that we have our perimeter there, we can kind of go back up to our formula and fill in. All right, our apothem is 15.3 times 102.9. All right, so 15.3 times 102.9. All right, now we have to divide that by 2 to get our final answer. So area equals 787.19, and I should actually do that 0.2 and then units squared. All right, so even if we don't have that, so that would be your final answer there. All right, that's not such a difficult type of problem that it becomes difficult for us to do. It's just memorizing the formula and knowing how to apply it. Same thing would happen over here. Here's your side length. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 sides. So we have to go 9 times 7.3 for our perimeter. 9 times 7.3 equals 65.7. So 65.7 is our perimeter. So now we just have to, again, plug in that formula. Area equals 1/2 of AP, right? Area equals 1/2 of our area, our apothem is 10 times our perimeter is 65.7. So I know area equals 1/2 of 657. So if I times 657 times 0.5 or divide by 2, I get an area here. A equals 328.5. So let's get that copied down kind of on our notes today so that we can really start to basically make sure that we've got this with a couple examples. And the examples are going to be able to help, and I forgot to put units squared there. All right, but the examples are going to definitely help us in the long run because when we go to take or go to look at this again later today, what we're going to see is that we're going to see basically that, you know, I've got an example on how to do it, and having that example will help me solve it in the future. All right, so now that we got that one done, let's move forward. All right, let's talk surface area. Now, surface area is basically the area of all surfaces on that. So we're not only finding the area of just a two-dimensional object, but now we're going to be looking for the area of a three-dimensional object. All right, so if we have a surface that is a right prism, all right, or any prism that has a right angle, we know that the surface is going to be found using the formula surface area equals 2 times the area of the base plus the perimeter of the base times the height of the prism. All right, and that seems a little confusing, and we'll kind of go through that and see what it actually means in just a moment. But what we will see is kind of working with that is that it's not that difficult. Right? Now the surface area of a cylinder, of a right cylinder, again with that right angle, you guys can see where it's noted. A surface area is going to equal 2 times the area of the base plus the circumference of the base, the radius of the base, and the height. So you've got two different formulas there. All right, and you can do it either way to find the area of the base. Again, if it's a right cylinder, the cylinder is going to be the same, so it's going to be 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h to find the circumference and the height, and that's kind of what we are definitely looking for here. All right, so let's look at some examples of how we do that. All right, so when we take a look at it, and you can see that we have that first right prism there, and that first right prism, again, is surface area equals 2 times the area of the base plus the perimeter plus the height. Right? So our bases, right? We got to kind of look at this object and see which ones are our base. And this top box here is our base, and this bottom box here is our base. And I'm going to kind of shade those in for you so that you can see. All right, now when we look at that, we know that that's going to be a base. Now, it's not going to be too difficult for us to figure out that area of the base, right? 2 times 1 is 2, so we know that our bases are 2, and our area is 2. So I'm going to rewrite surface equals 2 times the area is 2, right, plus our perimeter. So we got 2 and 2, right, because we have 2 and 2. And we have another 2 on that side and another 1, right? So 2 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1, our perimeter is going to be 6, and our height is going to be 2 feet. So now it's just kind of going through and solving for this. It's surface area equals 4 plus 12. Surface area equals 16 feet squared. How's it going? How's it going? Oh, I was going to wipe that up. I'm sorry. It's coffee. I spilt it coming in. Yep. I have my rags up here that I use for my board, and I was just going to use it for the coffee. I just slipped to my mind. Thank you. So now that I found that to be surface area 16 feet, I'm good to go on that one. That wasn't too hard. Again, what we're working on right now isn't going to be terribly difficult. It's just going to be a little time consuming to kind of identify this. So now we're going to look at a cylinder, right? And our surface area for a cylinder equals 2b, the area of the base, plus the circumference times the height. All right, so there's that, right? Now, when I look at this, right, I see a diameter of 20 here, and that doesn't help me. So I know I got to right away kind of cut that in half and identify my bases. So this top box here is a base, and then that bottom is a base too, okay? So what I know is I know that for my area of a base, right, which is we kind of saw was 2 pi r squared to find the two bases there, because that's our area of a circle formula. Let's figure that out. We got 2 times, we got 2 pi 3.14 times 100. All right, so 2 times 314. So we have 628 for that first part. Now let's go circumference. What's the area for circumference? Well, the circumference area is taking 2 pi r, right? So we have to find 2 pi r. So we have that 2 times 3.14 times 10, right? And then we have to multiply by the height as well, which is 5 miles. And it becomes just a calculator problem at this point. Okay, so we have 3.14 times 10, which is going to give us 31.4, times 5, which is going to give us 157. And then we're going to multiply that by 2 to kind of finish things out, and that gives us 314. All right, so now that I know that, I can figure out my surface area of the cylinder by taking 628 and adding it to 314. And what I get with that is I get 942 as my surface area. So surface area equals 942 miles squared. That is a giant cylinder. I just want to let you guys know about that. Pretty big cylinder. All right, so that would be surface area. Now let's take a look at volume real quick. And when we take a look at volume, what we're going to be looking at is we've got 3 different ones. If it's a perfect cube, that perfect cube makes it really easy for us to do it because we know it's just side cubed. All right, so side to the 3rd power. Excuse me. When we take a look at a prism, right, it would still work no problem if we did this the same thing. So when it comes time to know, it's really better for us to just know this one really well for anything that is rectangular or is a prism in general, not necessarily just for the cube. And then the second one that we know is we got that volume is right there. So let's go practice this real quick. All right, so what we have in this first one is we have our 2 bases, and that's what we have to do first is identify those 2 bases. There's base 1 and here's base 2. All right, you can kind of see it's in the background there. All right, so now what I have to do is I have to find the area of the bases, all right? Because my formula is V equals area of the base times the height, okay? So now that I have those bases there, okay, I have V equals area of the base, which is 10 times 10, right? And then my height is going to be that 9 yards right here, okay? So what I have is I have 100 times 9, all right? So V equals 900 yards squared. Oh, excuse me, it's going to be cubed. Anytime we're working with volume, it's going to be cubed. As a little slip there, all right? So what we know for that next one for that cylinder is that cylinder volume formula, which is going to be V equals base times height, or V equals pi r squared h. So we have to find the area of that base. Now we have our everything put in place, so V equals pi. My radius is 2 here, right here, because that's my base and that's my base, right? So 2 times, well, oops, let's go back, all right? So here's my two bases, right, and the purple there. And I know that volume equals the radius squared, so 2 squared times my height is 8 meters. Right, so volume equals 3.14 times 4 times 8. And when I see that, I get volume equals 3.14 times 32, right? And volume equals 100.48. And that's how you would go about solving these when you do these different things. So now that we have all this in place, what we can do is make sure that we are good to go on solving these today. So now that we've done this, hopefully we can take some time and practice some of these problems. Okay? All right. Have an awesome day, guys.